Hi, everyone. My name is Amy Collins, and this is Free Advice Friday. Every Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, I answer your questions that you email in, questions that you ask live. Those of you who want to join us live and type in or ask your questions right here while we're on the air, just go to amysadvice.com. If you go to amysadvice.com, there's several buttons there. One that will take you to my YouTube channel where you can look at old episodes. We also break down the really big pertinent questions into their own little mini episodes so that you can actually search by topic. And there's also a button that takes you to the registration where you can join us live if you have to ask questions. Put on my glasses and all right. Christy Sarduarte, one of my favorite authors, she's working on a new book, but she is the author of a terrific book that I just love called Transmigrant. Transmigrant has been out for about 2.5 years now, and while she's working on her next book, she and I have been in touch. I worked with her on some marketing stuff, but she's also very active in the author industry, has a few questions that she wanted to dial in. So she says, before Amazon used to list only reviews, but a few weeks back, they started listing ratings. Where does that come from? She used to have 26 reviews, but now it shows 27 ratings. The 27th rating does not have a review. Yes. All right, so here was the deal. Amazon is always making changes, and they are testing something right now. I do not believe it's permanent unless it goes well. But what they're testing at the moment is this. And keep in mind that if you're watching this as a replay, and it is, well past first quarter 2020, this may no longer be true. But as of first quarter 2020, Amazon is now listing the numbers next to your book where it says, Amy Collins the Right Way, and then 26 ratings. And that means that 26 people gave it a starred review, either 1-star, 2-star, hopefully 3-star, 4-star, or 5-star. I'm happy with anything over a 3-star. But they used to not let you just rate with stars. You had to write a review, and the review had to be a certain number of words minimum. Amazon would not let you just hit stars. That is changing. It is not changing for everyone. It is not changed in every country. But you will see, while they're going through this test, a number of changes on your page, one of which being that it no longer says you have 26 reviews, it says you have 26 ratings. You may only have 24 reviews or 22 reviews, but Amazon is trying to make it easier for shoppers to give something a starred rating. And because not a lot of people want to give it a star or 3 stars or 5 stars, but they don't want to write a whole review. Now, this is also true for Uber and Yelp, and a number of sites started out where if you wanted to write a review, you could then leave stars. But now you can leave stars without writing a review. It's a real simple thing. Christy, I'm glad you noticed. I had not even thought to mention it. So that's a great question. It started in December of last year. But as I said, if you're listening in a country other than US where you have .com, you're not going to see this. I don't believe that .ca has rolled this out. I know that it's not rolled out in a number of European countries, but at the moment, .com is experimenting with that. Christy's asking, is it worth it to submit to forward reviews? Her cover designer has run a delay, and her art cover was supposed to be done by early January, but it's not finished. She has a publication date of May 20th, but now she can't submit it to forward 4 months in advance. She also can't move the pub date because of a book listed with hidden gems. Christy, this is a very easy thing to do. Don't worry about the cover not being done. Forward will happily take a galley. You can take your Word document, your manuscript, and bind it real quickly. Send it to Kinko's. I don't care, as long as it's bound in some way, shape, or form. It used to be that Forward was okay with unbound galleys. They're not now. But you don't need your cover to submit to Forward. I say you should. Spend the $17, upload an ARC version to Ingram Spark. Go to Ingram Spark, put a temporary ARC ISBN on it, and list it as an ARC. Don't make it available for distribution. Put your marketing plan on the back. Put your pub dates. Put the information. An advanced reader's copy doesn't have to look just like a book. In some cases, it helps that it doesn't. So just go to canva.com or mockup.com. I'll help. Call me if you need it. Put a temporary ARC cover up. Send that cover to Ingram Spark. They'll send you a template. Just tell them how many pages the book is. Throw it up. Doesn't even have to be laid out and designed. It does need to be line edited, though, and a good proofread should have happened. But then put it out and get an advanced reader's copy out to all the reviewers. Publishers Weekly, for you in particular, Book List. You don't want to skip Book List, Forward, all of these. Kirkus, The Real Kirkus, not Kirkus Discoveries. So what if your cover's not done? They don't care as much about that. What they care about is the writing. Absolutely send it in. You don't need to worry about the cover not being done. And the last question Christy has, because I promised her I'd answer her questions first, and then I'm going to get to you guys. But as a follow-up to the previous question, can she have different pub dates for the ebook and the print versions? 5/20 for the ebook and 6/4 for the print book. No, Christy, don't worry about it. Make your pub date 5/20. Make your pub date 5/20. And if your print book is not available by May 20th, and it has to be pushed out a couple weeks, at least the book was, if you have to stick to May 20th because of Hidden Gems, that is your pub date. And it doesn't matter what formats the book comes out. The pub date is May 20th. And if it turns out that the paperback isn't available for another week, that's okay. It happens. It's not a big deal. At least the ebook is up. So make the pub date May 20th. But when you put your print book up on Ingram Spark, if you know that it's not going to be available until June 10th, then just say not available until June 10th. So Ingram gives you the opportunity to say, when is the on sale date? When is this book available? And for the paperback, you can say June 10th, June 15th, whatever date it is. But the pub date is still going to be on the 20th of May, because that's when the book first comes out. Christy's saying that the issue is submitting with Forward 4 months in advance. It's past that date. So what? Rules are meant to be broken. Get the darn thing printed out right now. Go today. Send it in. So what if it's 3.5 months? If you're already past the date, you've already announced a pub date of 5/20. Throw it out there. I wouldn't make if you make the pub date June, then won't that mess up the Hidden Gems opportunity? Or is Hidden Gems just wanting your ebook available on May 20th? Because that's another thing. If Hidden Gems doesn't care about the pub date, but if they just want to make sure that the ebook is up and available, then make the pub date June 10th, but make the ebook available May 20th. You can make your ebook available 2 or 3 weeks before the pub date. Just about everybody does, unless you're a major house. Like if you're Forge and you're releasing Hank Phillippe Ryan or someone, they're very strict about their dates. But for us mere mortals, make the pub date June and make the ebook available in May, unless Hidden Gems has a real issue with pub dates. So I hope that helps. Either, if you have to hold to the May pub date, submit your book without a cover right now anyway. Who cares if you've missed the deadline? Because if the book is good enough, they're going to take a look at it. Or what you can do as well is that you can say to Hidden Gems, the pub date is now June, but the book will be available by mid-May. Is that okay? Either way, I'm good. Brutus, and for those of you who are asking, what is Hidden Gems? I love Hidden Gems, and I'm so glad that Christy mentioned them. Go Google Hidden Gems. Let me Google it real quick and see if Google Hidden Gems book reviews. Hidden Gems is a wonderful book review service. Now, they do not charge for reviews. It's hiddengemsbooks.com. Let me drop that into the chat box. hiddengemsbooks.com. So hiddengemsbooks.com is a service. They do not buy reviews, but what they do is they charge a small fee and you have to submit. And when you submit to a book for Hidden Gems, you often have to wait 6, 8, 9 months. They're booked up. But they have a very robust and wonderful system, and they have an entire group of reviewers who they can send electronic copies of your book to, And these people will go and review them online. They don't guarantee Amazon reviews or 5 stars. But for those of you, I strongly recommend you Google hiddengems.books.com. Go to Hidden Gems Books. They are a wonderful, wonderful service that I recommend that you check out their website. I don't get anything for recommending them. That's just how it is. All right, Wendy is saying she is Wendy Vandepoel is an international best-selling author. She is in a nonfiction category. You guys should totally check out her books about pets and dogs and the world. And she's a children's, but she's wonderful. But she is a best-selling author, but in nonfiction, using her name Wendy Vandepoel. For her cozy mysteries, she's writing under Wendy Pollard, but she's not going to hide the fact that it's her. Since this is fiction, can I still use international BS author? No. I am afraid not. Now, you can do whatever you want, Wendy, but there are general rules. Wendy Vandepoel is an international best-selling author. Wendy Pollard is not. When J.K. Rowling publishes under, Gilbraith there, or whatever the name is, Richard Gilbraith, now he is an international best-selling author. But no, your author name, the general acceptable rules where you're not crossing a line is if you want all the branding and the love that comes with being Wendy Vandepoel, then be Wendy Vandepoel. Don't be Wendy. Wendy Pollard seems like an unnecessary complication. But unless, Wendy Vandepoel could get a whole new career as a mystery writer. I get why some people do the split, but Wendy, it's not like, your books are not the kind of books that in any way confuse or would offend a mystery reader. And your dog books and your books about pets and your expertise in no way, they wouldn't be offended by the fact you're writing mysteries. So go for it, but no, I'm afraid Wendy Pollard is going to have to earn her own stripes on her own. Next question. Mary says, well, hi, Mary. Thank you for the friendly hello. Last week, I said that a business book should be at least 60,000 words, between 60,000 and 80,000 words. And anything between 20 and 50,000 words would be considered a booklet. She said, what exactly is a booklet and who publishes them? Nobody. Mary, that was my point. If you only have 30,000 words, keep writing. You don't have a book yet. If you only have 30,000 words, then maybe what you want is a serialized magazine. Go to a trade magazine and have them pay you $1 a word for 8,000 words on a particular topic for an extensive article. A 20,000, 30,000 word book is not a book. When I said it's a booklet, that was supposed to be a joke. For the most part, you can put white papers out in ebooks. If you've got a 20,000 word ebook on a particular topic, go nuts. But that's not anything you want to put in between paper covers with a spine. An ebook, absolutely. And tons of people publish short ebooks. Short stories, whether it's fiction or if it's nonfiction, they publish short little ebooks and people love them. But make sure you don't price a short little ebook out of the market. Pay attention to what your current and similar authors are doing. If you know of an author like you or who has the same readership base, who's putting out 600-page paperbacks that are ebooks as well, your ebook can't be the same price as theirs. So that's what I meant by that. Ebooks are fine, but when it comes to the print world, especially if you want to be in bookstores and libraries, you can't give them half a book. A bookstore wants a whole book, and a whole book is not 80 pages. The exceptions being if it's a gift book, if it's a 4-color square book that's meant to be 96 pages because it's a cute little bathroom toilet reader, that's different. But for books like Mary's, that's my suggestion. Ellie's asking if I've heard of tailflick.com. Ellie, you're killing me with these questions because I love you. Keep them coming. But no, I don't know tailflick.com. She caught wind of him from a writer friend, and what's my professional opinion of him? They claim to match published stories to filmmakers for a nominal price. Well, you know what? Why don't I take a moment and why don't I share my screen and you and I as a team, we take a look at how I would investigate a company like this. Do you guys mind if I take a minute and let me share my screen? Share. Screen 1. Here's Google. Do you guys all see that I am on google.com? You guys see that? Let me go to the chat box and or the Q&A box and let me know if Jennifer's saying no, you can't see that I'm on Google. Can anyone else see that I'm on Google? Okay, Ellie can see it. Can anyone? All right, so I hope you guys can see google.com. Now, Ellie was asking about tailflick.com. So I'm going to start out by going to their website. I'm going to show you all the things I do when I want to look something up. Tailflick.com. I do not click on the ad one. I don't do that. I go down to the real Tailflick, and I click on their website, not the ad. All right. Tailflick Discovery Previous Winner. You guys see this with the laurel leaves here? I've got a friend who cracks me up. He says you can make anything look legitimate by putting gold laurel leaves around it. All right, let's see. Frequently asked questions about Tailflick. What is Tailflick? A weekly contest in which visitors to Tailflick vote on the stories they like to see adapted to film or television. What do the winners receive? Promotions, which may include specific mentions of individual contestants. Can I promote? Okay, so this is a contest. I totally get it. I go back to the main page, and here is a winner. They're touting this as a winner. Debase, logline, Soprano meets Gossip Girl. I like that. Okay, so they know how to do a logline, and they know how to do a tag. Great. Main characters, this looks interesting. All right. Now, this is one of the things that I like. The next thing I'll do is I'll go, now that I understand what it is, now I'm going to Google Tailflick complaints. Victoria Strauss. We love Victoria Strauss. Have you guys followed her? Editor Beware. She's wonderful. Let's see. I'm getting questions about Tailflick. I agree with David Gaughran's negative assessment in this thread, especially given that the only rights deal are to the founder's own production company. It's not an outright scam, in my opinion, but not a good use of money. Now, David Gaughran, I'm not pronouncing that right, Gaughran, I love him. You guys have to follow David, and you have to follow Victoria Strauss. These are two very savvy people. And there's an entire conversation here on Twitter that I found simply by typing in Tailflick and complaints. Read through this. If David and Victoria don't like it, I would say it's not a good use of money. Just take a look online, but I always put in the name with complaints or problems, and I see what comes up. But Ellie, I would say because I trust and I like Victoria and David's advice, I'd skip them. All right. Wendy's saying she has a 5-star review on Amazon UK. Is it possible to have it copied onto all Amazon sites where the book is? No. Every site, UK, Canada, Japan, US, Australia, all the different Amazon sites, those reviews are on that site only. They are separate entities. You cannot copy them over. Now, what you can do, Wendy, is you can go to Amazon UK. You can copy that review, go to your Author Central account on Amazon.com, go to editorial reviews, and you can cut and paste that review into your editorial review and use it as an editorial review. But Amazon will not put a UK review on a US page, even if you ask, I'm afraid. Stephen is asking, do you have a list of book awards and places to submit? I'm concerned about paying $60 to enter my book. Are these legit? Are there any free ones available? Stephen, here's the legit list of book awards that you should enter. Booker, the Bookerman Prize, Pulitzer, Caldecott, Newbery, the huge ones. Go ahead, submit yourself for a Pulitzer. Anyone can. You want to submit yourself? I think it costs $75 to submit yourself for a Pulitzer. But please, guys, not these little book awards, for the most part, that you have a hard time finding or that nobody's heard of. If you're really concerned, Stephen, about submitting $60 to enter your book, then book awards are not a good, because all book awards for the most part, they charge a fee to enter, and most of them will not get you a good return on your investment. But one of the things I will tell you, if you walked into a library or a bookstore right now and you ask them, what book awards do you pay attention to? Which ones? They would tell you the Booker, the Pulitzer. Let's see. There are a couple of children's book ones like Newbery, Caldecott. But if you asked a bookseller if an IPPY award or a Ben Franklin makes a difference, or a USA book, skip the USA book ones altogether. If you ask them if that review, if that award makes a difference, the booksellers and librarians will tell you no. However, if you submit to Book Life or Ben Franklin and you want to submit for a review, so let's say you win the gold and you want to be an award winner and you want to put those laurel leaves or that stamp on your book because readers might be impressed, then that's a good reason to do it. And I would recommend Book Life, and I think the Ben Franklins are great. So the Ben Franklins and the Book Life, but that's about it. Skip the USA book. Do not, I mean, and do the same thing with these book reviews that you just saw me do with Tailflick. Go to Google, type in the name of the reviews, type in the word complaints, problems, lawsuit, type in a whole bunch of words. Denise is asking if I could post the new Facebook group that I mentioned last week. Well, I would be happy to. That's very kind of you. Let's see. Facebook.com. Don't you guys love it when I just stop what I'm doing? Group/Free Advice Friday. Enter. Let's see if that works. There you go. I'm dropping it in the chat box. For those of you who would like to ask questions on the Free Advice Friday page, please go to facebook.com/group/Free Advice Friday. I upload this by the end of the day there. I upload it on my YouTube channel. Amy Collins, if you hunt me out on Twitter, is New Shelves Books. Find me on Twitter, New Shelves Books. Find me on Facebook at New Shelves Books. Free Advice Friday, you can reach me all those places. Denise, thank you for asking. That was very kind. I dropped it into the chat box. Facebook.com/group/Free Advice Friday. Wendy is saying she was also told it has to do with Amazon algorithms. Wendy, I'm so sorry. I don't understand what that means. Are you talking about when you've got your own name? I'm so sorry. Mary was saying about the question about a 25,000 word book. She has a client who wants to hire her to edit them, but they're not books. And I get that. Make them ebooks or audiobooks, and you're in great shape, Mary. But if they want to be in bookstores, Amazon is different. Amazon's a whole different world. But if you want to be in bookstores, then you need a real book. But, guys, it's no different than, let's say Ulta makeup. You've got to have, if you want a little trial size, go online and buy a little trial size for $4. But if you're going to walk into Ulta and you're going to spend $30 on it, you want the full size. You want the top quality. So when you go into Barnes & Noble, you've got to have a top quality book. You can't just have a little mini trial size of a book. All right. Wendy's saying that the Amazon algorithm question is because she's so well known in nonfiction, it would confuse Amazon algorithms because of the fiction genre. Oh, well, that makes sense. That makes a great deal of sense. See, now there's a good reason, but I'm afraid you're going to have to earn your stripes there, my friend. I'm sorry. I wish it was an easy way. Ellie's saying that the reading was not for Valentine's Day, it's for V-Day, which fights gender-based violence and do spoken monologues. Ellie, when is V-Day? I would love to know more about that, and I would love to support that. I'm so sorry about my ignorance about V-Day. Would love to learn more about that. Please drop me an email or a line about that. Ellie's asking for Victoria's full name, and her name is Victoria Strauss. Let me drop a couple of blogs in. If you guys don't know Victoria Strauss and her Editor Beware stuff, Writer Beware. Sorry, she's got just the most wonderful blog called Writer Beware. And you guys really should know about her blog. So I am dropping that into the chat box. And David, I'm not going to try and pronounce his name because he's a lovely man and he deserves better than me trying to pronounce Gauquin? Gauguin? I don't know. I'm sorry. Oh, I love his blog. I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to figure out how to pronounce his last name. I'm so embarrassed, but you guys know how imperfect I can be on these. And so there you go. There's his blog. David Gauquin and Gauquin and Victoria Strauss. There's two blogs in the chat box. For those of you who are saying, but wait, I want to know. Don't worry. If you're watching this on a YouTube channel, then just go to amysadvice.com and all of these links will be right under this video. I'll have Victoria and David's links. I'll have the Hidden Gems link, the K Promotions link. It'll all be there. If you're watching this on a replay and you're thinking, well, that's not fair, I want these links, just go to amysadvice.com. They're all sitting right there under this video. I list them by date. One last thing I want to mention is that if you want to join us live and get these links real time and ask the questions real time, it's amysadvice.com. That's where to go. Wendy's saying the Writer's Digest Awards. I like Writer's Digest. I like Writer's Digest a lot. And if you want to get a publisher's attention or a reader's attention, I think you'd have better luck. I think you'd have better luck with other ones. I like Writer's Digest. I'm not saying they're not a scam. They're a wonderful place. But if it depends on your goals. I would strongly recommend that you pay attention to your goals. Because if what you're trying to do is get a publisher, well then sure, definitely enter the Writer's Digest competition, if that's your goal. But if what you're trying to do is win a contest so that readers love you, that Writer's Digest contest is not a good fit for you. All right. Susan saying she entered a question in chat, but then noticed that she should have entered it in the Q&A. Susan, I do try and keep my eye on the chat, but yes, and I will do that. But the chat box is more for me to drop stuff or for us to do links. Susan's asking, is she better off to place reviews created by readers of advanced copies of the book as editorial reviews on Amazon, or get them to post them after the book is live as customers, whether or not they buy the book or not? Sorry for the duplication. I'm mixed up. Okay, that's wonderful. So Susan, great question. It is better to try and get your readers to post the review on Amazon themselves, and then stay in touch with them. If Amazon pulls the review, doesn't let them post it, because they are either they're connected to you on social media or Amazon's computer systems somehow erroneously connects you guys as buds, then you take their review and you put it in editorial. That's how you do it. You put them under editorial review as endorsements with their full name and their title. You can't just say a reader. It doesn't work that way. But if Amy Collins gives you a review and Amazon doesn't post it because they know you and I know each other, or there's a million reasons why they won't post my reviews. I can barely review anything on Amazon. I can probably review dog food, but that's about it. Then you put it under editorial reviews. That would be the order of operations as far as I'm concerned. Wendy's saying, I'm updating all KW categories, descriptions, etc. on Amazon. I forgot. Should we put our KW in the description? I'm going to guess that Wendy means keywords. Wendy, if you don't mean keywords, now's the time to jump in and tell me, because I'm about to talk about keywords. Wendy, if you've got new keywords that you're trying to use, be careful about shoving them in, a lot of them, into the description. Yes, you should organically, and when it makes sense, put important keywords in the description. You're not allowed to put things like best-selling. You're not allowed to put things that indicate your success. You're not allowed to mention other books or other authors anymore. You can mention other authors in your bio. So if you're a huge fan, or if you're a student of, or if you're a follower of, or if you have a quote from Lee Child. You can put that in your bio, but you can't put it in your book description. Amazon will pull it. Well, they'll pull the whole book until you fix it. So be careful with keywords in your description. But if you didn't mean keywords, then please tell me what KW is and I will feel really stupid. All right, how you guys doing? Let's see if there's any other questions going on right now. Let's see here. Doesn't look like we have anything on Facebook. It doesn't look like the live feed actually kicked in on Facebook. So there you go. All right, next question. Terry is saying that I mentioned a number of Fridays ago that using selections of all, selecting all the foreign options is not always recommended. She did it for a while, but only sold a few books in Canada. She sold one in England, a friend of her sister's, and one in Australia. How can she, for she guesses the question is, can she get into Amazon.com in other countries and try to advertise to readers? Well, Terry, for you, if you want to be in all the different countries, then go ahead and put your book into all of the foreign countries. Where it's not a good option is if you've written a book with legal or U.S. focused advice. If you've written a book like we've got a wonderful woman, Sonia, who's on here a lot of weeks, and she wrote a book about getting divorced. Well, the divorce laws in Saudi Arabia are very different than the divorce laws in the U.S., the divorce laws in the U.K. If you've got a tax guide, if you have a book about how to get into college, it's very U.S. And so I'm saying you don't need to waste the money advertising and promoting. But Terry, for your book, because I know your book, you should absolutely put it in Canada, Australia, England. Go to KDP, put it up, print on demand, or through ebook, through Kindle, both in print and ebook internationally. Hit the global international buttons. That's good. And if you're also distributing it through Ingram Spark, there's no harm in putting it up through their global distribution program. It's a great option. I know I said that it wasn't always a good advice. And that's true. You shouldn't have to, it would be very frustrating for somebody if they thought they were buying a book about the best things that you can buy your child and find out that none of that, it's an entire book full of things that they can't buy over in India. So there you go. Ellie's saying for more information about V-Day or the 1 Billion Rising, please visit vday.org or 1billionrising.org. That's wonderful. Guys, I'm going to drop that link because I want to support, anything that Ellie does, I'm a fan of. But Ellie, there you go. vday.org is where you guys should go, and that's where I'm going to go after this session to learn more about this organization. Denise is saying, following up a follow-up question on Amazon rankings, she noticed in her reviews for one of her books that Amazon has included one top international review from the UK, which happens to not even be the highest rated one, fourth for this one. I can't answer that, Denise. I don't know what the question is, but I don't know. Perhaps the number one top international review from UK, maybe that's a new system that they're experimenting with, where they're dropping one or two. I will look into that. I was unaware of that, but I'm fascinated. And let me write that down. International reviews on Amazon. Let me look into it for next week. Now, Christy, I know you've got international reviews on Amazon.com, but the original question was, are the reviews that are on .uk or .ca, are you able to copy them to .com? No, they are very separate. I know you've got international reviewers because they go to .com and they review your book on there, but that's different than you can't copy a review that someone put on .uk and ask Amazon to put it on .com. For the most part, they say no. Let's see. Wendy's saying in her description, she put best-selling author Wendy Higdon. Do I need to change that? It was recommended to me by someone who knows about descriptions. She can't remember his name. I have no problem with you mentioning that you're a best-selling author in your bio. I don't have any problem with it, but Wendy Higdon isn't a best-selling author. Wendy Vandepoel is. I don't know. I think it's dicey. It's up to you, Wendy. This is not a hill I'm willing to die on. I'm not gonna weigh in on this, but I would ask that perhaps you phrase it, Wendy Higgin, also AKA international best-selling author Wendy Vandepoel. That would have a little more. That'd be more how I'd do it. Terry's asking if she's running ads, and I'm assuming by ads, Terry, you mean the keyword bumps. You're not talking about actual physical ads on Amazon. You're talking about where you take 1,000 or more keywords and you boost your ranking and your searchability with them. Do those ads run on all the selected Amazon countries also? It depends. It depends on where your book's available. And it depends on, if you go to ams.amazon.com, which is now advertising.amazon.com, you will have an opportunity to narrow it just to the US or to go broad. You can choose that. But Terry, the answer is it depends on where your book's available and how broad you want to set your settings. All right. Jean just jumped in. Jean Daly, good to see you. She said, so sorry I missed you the last few weeks. Did Amazon already begin accepting stars only? She wanted to know if I've seen that Amazon is accepting stars only reviews, stars only ratings without written reviews. Yes, Jean, we are aware of that. Actually, about a half an hour ago, we talked about it, but it's so good to see you. Yes, once again, for those of you who are joining us a little bit later, Amazon is now allowing in the US, I can't speak about other countries, I'll check it out, but at the US a few weeks ago at the end of December, they started letting people just click the stars and not leave a written review. They're hoping this is going to boost the interaction and the ability for people to leave ratings. Susan Quinlan is asking, her book is for kids, has full spread illustrations. She's formatting it for Kindle, and she's been considering whether or not it might be worth offering 2 different versions. One with a fixed format that matches the print version, printed offset press, and a second one with reflowable text that might be easier to read, view on a Kindle. Is it a reasonable idea, or will it just create buyer confusion? She could assign the reflowable version a separate ISBN. Susan, I've actually looked into this a number of times for my clients, and we've done it before as an experiment. I will tell you that in almost all cases with children's book, it was not worth the expense. And the fixed format one was the only one. That's what parents are used to. Now, children's picture books, especially with illustrations, there's not a lot, the percentage of people who buy those as ebooks is minuscule compared to the rest of the market. It's a very small slice of the market. But a fixed format is the way to go. I've done this a number of times with authors, and we've tried doing an A/B test, and the reflowable one, meh. It's not worth the money. It really isn't. People, just one ebook, people know when they buy an illustrated book. And when it's got, they understand what they're getting in for. They're used to it. You don't need to worry about reflowing. Alexander's asking, has a rookie writer ever published a 200,000, I'm assuming 200,000 word first novel? Well, I don't know if a rookie, have they ever published them? Absolutely. There's been lots of them. I've got clients who have published 180,000 word first novels. Did they do well? No. But let's do the math. 200,000 words. 200,000 words. There we go. And let's go nuts. Let's say you can get 350 words on a page. That is a 572-page book, minimum. Now, that's without front matter or back matter. So you're looking at about a 600-page book. 600-page book, absolutely doable. Lots of people publish 600-page books. Lots of people publish 800-page books. I adore Ken Follett. Read everything that Ken Follett puts out. His books, what's his name? Edward Rutherford. Edward Rutherford. Kind of a British version of the guy who does Centennial in Hawaii and all those books. His books are 1,000 pages. Love him. Yes, you're Alexander. You could put out a book, or maybe Alexandra. I'm sorry, because the name is getting cut off. But you could easily put out a 600-page, 200,000-word first novel. I would strongly recommend that you don't do it print on demand. That you get it print offset, because print on demand, you won't be able to price the book for bookstores or libraries or even Amazon in a reasonable fashion that people will read. Or you do ebook only. So if you're going to be publishing it yourself, do it smart. Go get some funding, get 10, 15 grand together, print 1,000 copies offset, or even digitally, but a large group, and warehouse them and sell them that way. A print-on-demand book at 600 pages, you will not be able to sell the print book at a reasonable price. Now, an ebook, all day long, go for it. Go ahead. Make it an $8.99 ebook. You're a first-time author. Go nuts. Develop a huge fan base on ebooks. Audiobooks, also a good idea. They price audiobooks by how long the recording is. If, Alexander, you're asking, can you get published by a publisher with a 200,000-word first novel? Probably not. The agents that I know, if they see if they see that somebody's handing them 190,000 or 200,000-word manuscript, you immediately go into the no pile. Immediately. Not because your book isn't wonderful, but because they know it's going to be a hard sell. You better be really brilliant if you want to get published with that sort of word count. I will be back next Friday on the 31st of January to answer your questions here on Free Advice Friday. I want to remind you guys, if you're watching this on a replay, you can watch the full replays on youtube.com. You can watch them at amysadvice.com. If you'd like to leave a question and get your questions answered, you can do it at amysadvice.com, or you can always email me at questions@amysadvice.com. And finally, may I recommend that you go to facebook.com/groups/Free Advice Friday. I'd love it if you join the group. I let everyone in. and I can answer questions there as well. Molly, and for those of you who I wasn't able to appropriately answer questions, I will have a very top agent. I don't know who I'm going to ask yet, but I'm going to ask one of my friends to come online and to join me next Friday at 10 a.m. here at Free Advice Friday. And we will get back next Friday to your questions. And I look forward to seeing you all then. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you next week on Free Advice Friday.